In October of 2020, I was attempting to get into the Hive community more and more, and had been attracted to the controller PvP community because I played Switch and I was a PvPer. So I had watched a ton of YouTube videos on like what controller binds were the best, or like what the best sensitivity was. But there was one video that basically got me where I am now. That video is this. FreshThePig MC, rough texture pack showcase, short swords plus low fire. I had seen multiple videos by this creator, FreshThePig MC, back then known as TechnoFresh MC. I had watched his entire catalog of Hive videos that he made until I reached the most recent one, the video that advertised his Discord. I didn't know at the time, but that one click of that invite put me down a strange and exciting path for the next year and a half, full of amazing memories, friendships, heartaches, burdens, and so much wasted time and wasted sleep. My name is Game Guy. Most people know me as GG, or GameGi, or Gamgi, whatever it's said. I'm the admin of Fresh's current Discord. I've left about 4 crucial times, each one ending with me coming back. I've seen many people go, many people join, and the server at its all-time high and all-time low. The history of this damn server is long and complicated. So, why don't we get started? This is the history of FreshThePig's Discord servers. Now, there are currently 3 generations that the server uses to classify your experience with Fresh. It has to do with prior to joining the server, when you were watching him on YouTube, and it has to do when you joined the Discord server. The first one that we call is called Old Gen, or Old Generation. This was during the summer of 2020 to early 2021, approximately middle of February, or the end of February. The second generation, or the middle generation, or the mid-gen, is right after the end date of the old generation, aka the end of February or the start of March, or approximately the end of July or August. And then the last one is August or September of 2021 to current day. This is called the new gen. These 3, I guess you can call them classes, are basically just judges on how much experience you've had with Fresh, and not really even Fresh, just the community. So why don't we go back? Let's go back to the beginning. TechnoFresh's first Discord was made in approximately late summer 2020. At the time, TechnoFresh, we'll refer to him as Techno for convenience sake, didn't have much of a big fan base, so the server didn't exceed 100 members. Very little is known about this server, as there are few that remember it or have screenshots of it. The server was deleted by a mod that went AWOL. The second server was made in late September 2020, right after the deletion of the first server. This server housed more members than the last because Techno's fanbase was growing. But the fanbase wasn't big enough to the point where people took screenshots or even remember conversations. These members are classified as old generations. They include myself, Kitty, Skittle, Ant, TNT, Landon, and more. This was the server I first joined, though it wasn't for long because Techno lost access to his Discord account, and he was forced to abandon the server and the account. The server is still up, but with Ferret, the admin, accidentally leaving recently and the other members not being able to invite, it looks like the server is finally able to rest. Alright, with the prologue out of the way, let's talk about the most important server out of them all, 3.0. As I referenced, 2.0 had a mass migration to 3.0 right when it became public. I can't say if it was active or more active than normal, because there's no record anymore of that day, nor is there any of the first or second server either. But that didn't matter, because this was finally the server where things would kick off and become big. Techno had an actual following at this point, and had more fans than friends in the server. Granted, fans could become friends, but the Techno back then is unfortunately not the Fresh we know today. This will become relevant later. Techno played a lot of Minecraft back in the day, which he live streamed and made videos about almost daily, which he still does, but not on the same basis. These live streams were the turning point of turning your identity from a nobody to a known member in the Discord. Live streaming mostly included people simping and trying to get into Techno's games or friend him, but alas, the ones that came out victorious were the ones who had boundaries and gave Techno them. Showing up to every stream but not talking every single minute, but stream sniping a decent amount, but not every game. These techniques were used by the members of the Discord to get their name out into the community and quickly grow them an identity.
Nice.
And because of Techno's thinking at the time, you were able to get a fairly high authority position back then if you just simped enough. But this is mainly about the Discord, so let's get back to that. Being active also got your name out, which was extremely easy back then because the community was sprawling with new members and old members talking every single day for hours at a time. With addition of the simping strategy, after 2 months, some rose above the others to become recognized figures in the community. Not to look down on the commoners though, there were many regulars that were an absolute pleasure to talk with when we could, even if, yeah, they were a little weird. Screenshots finally began as a joke mechanism. The pioneer of this mechanism, Swift Mirror, known in the community as Screenshot God, was famous for sending screenshots of funny things people said for only seconds after they said them. This eventually became a regular occurrence even to this day. Back then, roles were seen as an award/honor system. I made a goal of myself to get the role Techno's homie as soon as possible when I got there. But to my surprise, they gave me a custom rank because of my reputation. I think that actually was the first ever custom role. Don't quote me on it, but I'm pretty sure it was. After some time, moderation was sought after because there were only 2 co-owners and 1 owner by now, so the server clearly needed something else. Well, it turned out my simping paid off, as I was one of the 2 first ever moderators appointed in the server. Having this was an absolute flex, as Techno was very strict with who could have that role. Having mod also of course shows that he trusts and knows you. That pretty much sums up the start of 3.0. Some of my best memories were when Techno made a Not Safe for Work channel, and a member by the name of Val, if you know him, you know him, posted some very interesting pornography in it. That's all I'm gonna say. If you were there for it, you knew it was a fucking shit show, but I loved it. Another one was just the late night streams I'd stayed on, and even the one where I got to play hide and seek with Techno. Just little things like that just made my day. You'd think it stayed quite a long time like this. I mean, the server is going strong. You'd think it'd go for, I don't know, half a year maybe? Well, you know what they say. Nothing lasts forever. On February 2nd, 2021, Lil Kittle, aka Kitty, co-owner, close friend of Techno, and considered to be the backbone of the server, left the community forever because of Techno's personality behind closed doors and in DMs. Arguments and fights that were never truly forgiven, and that were all remembered because of one problem: Techno deleting roles, which seems like an easy problem to fix, but with months of fights and toxicity, they both snapped. And thus, the community was never the same. In the weeks after, the server had slowly declined in activity, with it, old gens leaving because of her reasoning, and a new server formed by yours truly. Because of my feelings toward him as a staff figure and a person. This soon caused me to leave the server and only talk in the new one we had formed, the Sanctuary. Named because it sanctified, aka protected, us from the toxicity of Techno. This effectively ended the old gen period of the server, and began what we call the middle generation, or the mid-gen. This generation started off slow, but eventually built up over time. This is because almost all the old gens were inactive this generation, or left. This generation was unlike the old, because it was entirely based on your activeness and ability to play Minecraft. AKA, if you're good at Hive or PvP, you got to interact with Techno more. This mindset that Techno adopted caused an influx of server moderation. Pretty much anybody could get mod, not even considering their trustworthiness. I don't have any personal experiences from the beginning of this generation, but from the perspective of others, it sounds like it was very gameplay and short-term chat oriented. It was also at this time where a noticeable amount of public toxicity started to spread and become common in general chat, not just behind the scenes. Screenshots of funny sayings as jokes were still being used regularly in chat, despite the absence of Swift, the one who created the custom. It's unclear if he inspired it or the generation just picked it up on their own. Techno changed his name to Fresh the Pig at the time, which I think is relevant to him becoming a different person in the later generations, and still focused on YouTube. I eventually came back sometime during the summer. I was actually kind of shocked at how many new people had joined in the time I was gone. It was literally an entirely new community with very few people that I knew. But the thing is, I still had the authority that I did when I left. But I had to make relationships with the new ones and tell them the story of why I left in the past. Eventually, Tycom, one of the old gens that had stayed when we had all left, and we reminisced about the past and the state of the server then, and we decided to create our own server and invite every generation to it. I named it Nostalgia as a joke, and that ended up being the official name. The important old gens joined, such as myself, Ferret, Noah, Andesite, etc. This server was active for about a month until there was a conversation going on in Sanctuary, which, like I explained, was built up of only old gens. They determined the toxicity of the mid-gens just wasn't what they remembered nor what they wanted. So, by their wish, I deleted Nostalgia and disguised it as a grief. I then ended up leaving for a short time. And with that was the end of the summer, and that concludes the period of the middle generation. I was only at the end of the generation, so I asked some mid-gens about some of their memories from that time. Here's some of them. So this is it. This is the current generation, the new generation. Alright, so this one started out with like a big bang on top of a big bang. So it started with the destruction of Nostalgia. Just right off the bat, bad. You're going right back to 3.0 and it's just terrible moderation. Well, speaking of the moderation, right after the destruction of Nostalgia, the 3.0 server was quick to fall to its knees after nobody got mod perms. Now, it isn't 100% known who it was or who gave them the mod perms, but what matters is that general chat was deleted. After that, the server was quickly deleted on September 24th, 2021. The fourth and current server was made on the same day before the third server was deleted. The server was very active on the first day, as it always has. But Fresh was asking the OGs to return and to forgive and accept him as Fresh instead of Techno because of the aforementioned name change to Fresh the Pig. Some OGs accepted, some didn't, but what matters is I did. It was fun to see everyone again and talk with everyone, and the server was pretty active for a while after this, but mostly because of the deletion of Nostalgia. And after this, we eventually saw the rise of new active members called New Gens. But unfortunately, it was nowhere close to the number of mid-gens that joined after the recession of the old gens. I still ended up joining back and making more memories of the new community, while also talking about the past of the server, like I did beforehand. But however, due to pressure from outside Discord and an identity crisis, I deleted my Discord account and only stayed on Sanctuary for about a month. I did eventually come back though, which actually inspired me to make this video after months of procrastinating. Unfortunately though, only days after I returned, Tycom, the man I rose to fame with in my old gen glory days, the one I made Nostalgia with, he finally left the server to live his life outside of it. And what's also frightening is that more and more people are talking about leaving. But I'm only here to talk about the history because I promised a lot of people I'd do this, and now that I'm back, I figured I'd go back on my promises and not let you guys down. Going back to my point of why I came back the 4th time and I'm not leaving anymore. During that time, I took an irrational decision for my friends and I just went with it. I was told because it was what was best for me. And then I did it and I felt good for a while, but slowly, after a while, it just kept eating at me inside. Just, why do I feel so bad? I'm still on the server with my old close friends. Do I really care that much about the new ones? And yeah, I did, and I still do. That's why I came back. Because at the end of the day, after all the bullshit of dealing with people's troubles and drama, you still love them. And they love you. They support you. And anyone who does that in my book deserves that support back. I do have my problems with this place, but I think slowly we're getting over them. I guess I'm done having people tell me what's right and what's wrong. It's time for me to make my own decisions and think for myself. Which is why I'm making this video. The server is a lot to take in, and I don't even know what the future may hold for it. But there's no backing down now. For me, fresh, old gens, new gens, mid gens, the whole damn server. Whatever happens next, I just hope my friends are there in the end. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. This has taken my heart and soul to make. I want to thank SafeCase for making the thumbnail. It looks great. Shifting TNT for helping me to get some screenshots. Thanks to Fresh and Ant and Hazy and everyone that I've interviewed. Thank you guys so much. I think that's about it. This was kind of my love letter to the server. I think it's my magnum opus in terms of quality and effort, so hope you liked it, I guess. I'll see you around. Thanks for watching.